So this one's going to be very inconvenient for many of you, because there's nothing more frustrating than thinking you're doing what's good and healthy for you when in reality the opposite is happening. I hate when that happens. It reminds me like way back in the 90s and early 2000 when I was mostly vegetarian. I would only eat meat like as the final protein. I would eat some protein at the end of the day for dinner. I would eat some meat, but all the rest of the time I was eating pure carbs, vegetables, fruits, thinking I'm being the healthiest I can be. And it seemed like the whole world was in agreement with me back then. But this is life, right? As life goes on, as new research comes up, new things pop up, and what you thought was healthy is no longer healthy. And this is a real inconvenient one. This is a pain in the ass for me, okay? Because here I am thinking, for example, I'm going to Whole Foods, buying organic ginger turmeric tea, which is organic. You pay a little more for it. But then the tea bag, not the plastic around it, but where the tea bag inside of the plastic, there's the tea bag. The tea bag itself now has plastic. And it's like, oh man. And what's happening? We're heating the tea bag. We're heating it at a very high temperature. Obviously, you're making tea. Now, microplastics from the actual tea bag. Remember, I'm not talking about the plastic. I'm talking about this here itself. Microplastics from this now, because this is made with microplastics, is going to leach out, and it can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can affect our health. Now we're ingesting microplastics. Not good, scary, very inconvenient, and it's like, oh. And I'm especially upset because, this is ginger, right? And I just did my How to Naturally Boost Testosterone webinar last month in July. And one of the things I found out was how ginger can help boost testosterone, among a lot of other things. And also it's like a vasodilator. So I noticed I would drink ginger before I would have sex and my erections would be stronger. Like I felt it might all be psychological, I know, but so I was very happily, drinking my ginger tea when I thought I was going to get lucky. But now I can no longer do that, at least not with this brand, because there's microplastics surrounding the tea bag. Now there are brands like Yogi. There's another brand, Traditional Medicinals, and there's a few other brands that don't have any plastics in the tea bag. However, they might still have a little bit. We don't always know. The same brand could come out with a different tea bag that does have microplastics. And this has to do with what I call, when I write my book, The Carnivore Journey, the third C, consumerism or capitalism. If you're a big company and you need to make thousands or millions of these tea bags, why wouldn't you put some plastic in it? It's so much cheaper. It's gonna be better. And I know I've used tea bags before where they sort of disintegrate, and then I get upset because then the leaf spread. And so I've gotten irritated over that. So I can totally understand if I'm a business owner and I'm a tea maker, I totally get how using plastics would just make things easier for the consumer. And at that moment, you're not thinking they're going to be digested. You're not thinking about that. You don't think that people could digest the plastic. And so being in a capitalistic society, it only makes sense if you're a tea maker. To make a bigger profit, you're probably going to put plastics in your tea bags. And, but now the research is out. It's bad for you. It's not good. So I'm going to show you right now on ChatGPT some of the inconvenient truths. Here's some information I just copied and pasted from ChatGPT. A lot of tea bags aren't just paper. Many are nylon or PET mesh. heat sealed with plastic, usually polypropylene. Some brands have switched to plant-based plastic, better source, but still plastic. That's scary. Even plant-based has plastic in it. Plastics plus hot water, 2019 peer-reviewed study found a single plastic tea bag released 11.6 billion microplastics and 3.1 nanoplastics per cup. Man, that sounds so scary. A more recent research study, 2024, on polypropylene, cellulose paper, and nylon six-bag shows millions to billions of particles released, and intestinal cells can absorb them. Modeled in vitro, health impacts are still being studied, but exposure isn't zero. So even plant-based does not work. Brands using PLA are transparent. It's still a plastic just made from plants, and that typically needs industrial composting. So just very, very scary stuff. You know, the studies are out there, not good. You want to not be heating up plastic and then digesting it. Okay, so here I'm going to make tea. The ideal way to avoid any possibility of getting plastics in your tea is to go and purchase tea from a farmer's market. They will often sell it in plastic bags, but the tea itself, when you go to cook it, it's going to be much better. You know there's not going to be any plastic. So this here is going to be some ginger lemon tea that I make here. And I'm going to use this device. I'm going to put the tea leaves in here. This is a metal device. And so I'm going to take not going to make a lot of tea. I'm going to just put 2 small teaspoons in there. I'm going to set it here. This has been done before. When you put the hot water in, the tea tends to expand like it has there. But I'm gonna heat up some hot water, pour it in here, let it steep. I take this out, just like we can do here. You can take this out now and drink the tea. This is the ideal and best way to make tea to ensure that you get no plastics with the tea. Buy it at your farmer's market, get it locally grown. There's not going to be any plastics, no tea bags you have to worry about. Remember, even the brands that say they don't have plastic, you never know. They can come out one day with a different flavor and that one may have plastic. Safest way, buy it at your local farmer's market, get the tea from there. Use one of these metal casing, steel casing devices to heat up the tea, and that's the best way to go. Thank you for watching. This is Herman Deal with Subconscious Fat. I'll be out next Monday with another video of subconscious fat, and then Thursday, watch out for me and Mr. Skeptical in the written format. Bye.